Hi Queens, Sam here. I hope that you're doing amazing. In my video today, I want to share with you my experience and journey of attending so far three Exodus summits and to let you know if I'll be attending the fourth one, which is actually happening this year, October 11 to October 14. Exodus Summit is celebrating the fifth year. And as a matter of fact, I missed the first one that they did, and that was back in 2020. I remember around November or December 2020, we were doing like online socials because that was what we could do in the middle of COVID. And so, two of my friends, they started talking. And one of them asked the other, she was like, "Oh, so how did you like Exodus Summit?" And the other one was like, "Oh, yeah, I liked it, just like getting so many information from Black women who have moved abroad." And that just like piqued my interest because I like, oh, there is a summit for Black women moving abroad. And they started talking to me about it. And I was so bummed because I actually missed the first one. So better believe that I actually put myself on their newsletters list. And so when the 2021 ticket went for sale for the Exodus Summit 2021, I went ahead and I grabbed my ticket. By then, also, I was also on Rashida's email distribution list, and I was wondering if the her her course, which is Burnout to Blaze, will be a good course for me. I reached out to her, and I was quite happy when she replied, and she did tell me that that was not the right course for me at the time, but then she recommended the Get Your Next Three Client Challenge. At the time, I did not take her on that because I wasn't sure if I was ready yet. I didn't have anything, no platform, nothing. However, in the meantime, I was also following Stephanie Perry on her YouTube channel and attending pretty much each Saturday her live. And I learned about her and YouTube and also house sitting. I know house sitting is not for me. I'm just not a pet person. That's not for me. However, I was really interested with the YouTube. So she has a 5 days YouTube challenge. And in 2022, I actually decided to join her 5 day YouTube challenge. And I took the challenge in April 2022. I loved it. It was phenomenal, right? Because I went from not having a YouTube platform at the beginning of the challenge to literally publishing my first video on day 5 and having a YouTube platform. But the other thing that I also got from the challenge was an accountability partner. And I know you guys have heard me many times mentioning her name here. Her name is Dani at Natural LID. She is an aromatherapist and she talks about essential oil. So Danny and I, we partnered from that challenge. So it's been over 2 years now that almost every month we have our accountability partner call and we motivate and inspire each other to continue being on YouTube here and sharing the information with you guys. And honestly, I could not have dreamed of a better accountability partner. I love her. She's just, I guess, like the best one for me because even sometimes when I feel like not making a video, you guys know she will be the one to be like, okay, can you just make one video this month, right? So it's been a great partnership. And so back in 2022 when I finished the YouTube challenge, I was also following Adelia Barishadi, right? So Picky Girl Travels the World, and mainly because both her and I, we talk about the same thing, like money for Black women and whatnot. And so I was following her channel, but that day on her channel she was interviewing Chi from Pro Family Travels, and she was talking about her giving birth to her second child in Playa del Carmen. And to be quite honest, for me, I knew that I was working toward moving abroad, which I've wanted to do for the past 10 years, to be quite honest. However, I never really sat to start working on the plan. But at that time, I was already like I was pregnant with my twins. That was my second pregnancy because I had my 2 year old at the time. And I knew that I'll be getting a 1 year paid maternity leave from my employer. But then there is no obligation for me during my mat leave to stay here in Canada. So when I actually listened to that video, that interview that Adelia did of Chi and her sharing her experience of giving birth abroad, I was like, oh, okay, that could be an option, right? So I started looking into it. I actually reached out to Chi on Instagram. We exchanged a little bit. And I also reached out to the clinic that she went to in Playa del Carmen. And honestly, the experience was phenomenal. They were answering my question, of the crazy question that I had. They shared with me the package and all that. And for me, it was just unbelievable. Of course, I was paying for it, but just like what everything that was included in the package for someone who was about to give birth in a country and city that essentially she knew nobody, I felt like that gave me really peace of mind, right? Because in my package, I had the OBGYN services, I had two midwives, I had two pediatricians because I was having twins, one doula, one lactation consultant, and any other uh, services that I could have, I could need, or I could also get that, maybe at an additional price. And so when I started really, like realizing that that could be something that I could actually do, I took it as a bit of me trying to see if maybe this time would be a good opportunity for me to test my move abroad plan. So I already knew it would not be a permanent move abroad. I knew that by the time my mat leave and ended, I will come back here in Canada and go back to work because I think the interview was sometime in June, July 2022. And literally by end of November 2022, I was in Playa del Carmen. So that's not enough time really to prepare for me to prepare like a permanent move abroad. So but at least it was a good time to prepare a temporary move abroad. And so, and I chose Playa del Carmen. So I've always been to Playa del Carmen before that, many years ago when it was like such a small city, and I liked it. So I think also the fact that I had visited Playa del Carmen in the past, and also I've always wanted to learn Spanish. It was a good way for me to just take. I didn't feel like I was going in like uncharted territory that much. However, talking about it to family and closest friends, people thought I had like two heads, right? Because here in Canada, at the end of the day, healthcare is affordable, almost free. We do pay for healthcare through our taxes. And so you giving birth is not like you'll be expecting like a huge bill to pay, because essentially most of it will be covered by the province healthcare system. And for those of us who have like benefit for our employer like I do, essentially I knew that I'll be having a room to myself at the hospital for how many days I needed, and even if the kids somehow need to stay at the hospital for a bit longer, I knew that I wouldn't have had to pay nothing from my pocket or very little. And here I was talking about going to, again, in a country city that I knew nobody, and having to pay. I think I paid close to probably $12,000 in total, just for the package and the health cost. And so people are like, why would you do something like that? But in my mind, I decided, and I knew that I was actually making it happen. And I'm gonna do a quick, mention here, and that's why I'm so big on Black women really getting their money right. Because if I did not have my money right, I wouldn't have been able to do such a quick move in such a short period of time. But I had the savings, I had the money saved, not so much for that, but I had the savings, so I was able to actually make that decision and not have money too much be like too much of I guess like a criteria for my move over. Of course, I was conscious of money. I was not gonna go crazy with the money down there, but I had a bit of cushion even before going. So that was in 2022, and then also at the same time, right after the challenge, I had a quick coaching with Stephanie, mainly for my YouTube channel, and I had also another chat with her. Because I wanted to see how eventually I could like have a summit like the one that they have, Exodus Summit, but more like for Black women building the wealth. And she was really open with me, and we had a great conversation about that. So I was in Playa del Carmen by end of November 2022. I also attended the Exodus Summit 2022, and the Exodus Summit 2022 is probably one of my favorites so far, because that was the one about move abroad money, and so it was honestly, I was ready with my notepad and my pen, taking notes and whatnot, and I really enjoyed it. And by the end of the year 2022, I put in my mind that for Exodus Summit 2023, I wanted to be a speaker. And honestly, it was a wild, 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 I guess, dream. But I put it on my vision board for 2023. As I told some of my closest friends that that's what I was hoping to do. And I even drafted the email that I knew I'll be sending around like August to Stephanie and Rashida to tell them how my experience of, like, moving abroad to give birth, and also, making sure that I had the money for it, could help another black woman in the community, if this could be essentially a way for black women to move faster. And the reason why is because by me giving birth to my twins in Mexico, automatically they are Mexican residents, right? So they're Mexican residents, and me as their mother, I was able to get the permanent residency, and my oldest through me was able to get the permanent residency. So that means, so now we're back in Canada. However, when we'll be ready to move abroad permanently in about 2 to 3 years. That's my timeline. Well, I know that Mexico is definitely a good option that is ready for us, because I have two of my kids who are Mexicans, one that has the permanent residency, and myself have the permanent residency. So that means we can go back to Mexico and live there, and definitely I can work there if I want to, and I will. There is no issue with the visa. There is no immigration process again for me, right? So granted, not everybody can just go and give birth in Mexico or whatnot, but I'm just saying this is definitely something that I really wanted to share with the Black women in the community. So when I was in Mexico and I gave birth to my twins around probably 2 or 3 months after Stephanie and Rashida, they were offering again their challenge, Get Your Next Three Challenge. And by then, I've already had my money coaching business established, my YouTube channel, and I just felt like I needed that also to help me reach the next level. So I took the challenge, and went through that. So that was a good. I think it was also over 5 days. And so come August of that year, I sent the email that I wanted to send to them and tell them how I think that, my experience could help another Black woman, in terms of, see how could the healthcare could be essentially if she was to do the same thing and go down to Mexico to give birth. And so they replied to me and they said that essentially their speakers list was complete, and I was totally fine with it. In life, you just have to try. That's the most important. You don't control what the answer you're gonna get, but you need to try. You need to make the ask. So I made the ask. So that was in August. Then in September, they came back to me and they say, okay, all of the speakers are already booked. However, we have panels, and we will have one panel on healthcare. Would you like to be part of the panel? And I said, yes. All right. So for me, panelist or speaker, I still get the opportunity to be on the Exodus Summit. And so I said yes, and I was a panelist at the Exodus Summit 2023. And honestly, it's probably one of the best experience that I've had in terms of, like sharing my very personal experience, to an audience of Black women, and really telling them how things went, and being able, hopefully, to inspire some of the Black women to take on the same road. And so so right before I actually did the panel in 2023, I think probably same thing, summer 2023, I started thinking about, how can I really help the black woman to actually get the money right, and above and beyond my coaching business and also the YouTube platform. And so I thought about, my chat with Stephanie on actually doing a summit myself. And so I decided to do a summit in 2023, which is called the Wealthy Black Women Summit. And last year was our first edition. And it just happened that essentially Stephanie and I we exchanged around that time, and she said, "Why don't you come on my platform on one of the Saturday live?" But mainly also because we talked about me being the oldest daughter, so being the I guess the oldest daughter of my family, and all of the responsibility that actually came from it, and how at one point I had to put some healthy I guess not barriers, but like healthy boundaries, to allow me to live my life too, right? So I'm not on her just to be someone's big sister, but just to be myself and live my life. And so I did that live with her. And if you guys haven't had a chance to listen to it, I'll put a link to that live in the description below, and also somewhere here on the screen. But honestly, she gave me the opportunity to reach her audience and not only share my experience of being the oldest of the family and having to welcome here in Canada over 10 years, literally 5 siblings, and who literally stayed with me, and to whom I paid the international student fees for, and really, like gave so much time and so much money to. but also to talk to our audience about my summit, which is the Wealthy Black Women Summit. And around the same time, Rashida also, right after the Exodus Summit 2023, she did a live on how to organize a summit. And that could not be more timely for me because I was in the midst of it and I was doing everything by myself. At the time, my oldest was in daycare and the twins were still with me because I was still on mat leave. So I was juggling all that and getting the summit ready. So when she did that live, I was so appreciative and grateful to her because she didn't have to do it. That's the reality of it. So both of those women, they have moved abroad, they're living their best life, but technically they did not have to reach back, to those of us who haven't moved abroad yet and haven't figured out our plan, because I don't think it's today that Black women are moving abroad. However, what is very special about them that I do respect and also honor and really I'm grateful to them is like they're like we're doing this for our own self, but we want to make sure that the majority of Black women or as many Black women will also take this step because there is much better than just going to school and then having a job and then getting married and having kids and all of those things that maybe society is telling us and our culture is telling us that we just have to do. There is more to that. And so that really helped me to like I guess like have a first edition of my summit last year and also give me a bit of hope that that could be something that I could do every year. So this year I'm also doing the Wealthy Black Women Summit, which is happening on November 16, 2024, and you may have already heard about it, but I'll put also a link to the my summit in the description below, and you guys will see the platform. I'm using exactly the same platform as the Exodus Summit one, so you'll be quite familiar with it when you check it out. And you also see in the lineup of speakers that there may be some that you already know. And one of them is Tin Zeke. So Tin was also a speaker at the Move Abroad Money Exodus Summit in 2022, and I really loved her sharing. And I started following her on LinkedIn. So for my summit this year, one of the things that I really wanted to focus on is how to make Black women ask for their worth essentially, and even more than their worth in the professional environment where, when they're employee, but also for their own businesses, for their services and goods. And that's also something that I struggle with myself because I do own a business, it's a service business. And sometimes I'm like, okay, should I put this at $57, at $97, at $127? Is it in Canadian dollars? Is it in US dollars? And Tin is coming to really help us to actually being able to be more clear and more structured when it comes to our pricing. And at the same time, also Asia Evans, she's a financial therapist, and I learned about Asia through Andrea. So Andrea has a podcast, which is the next best thing. With Andrea on YouTube, and I follow her as well. But Andrea was a guest on Stephanie's channel, and I also really enjoy her sharing, and I started following her on YouTube, and at one point she interviewed Asia. And money mindset is something that I'm very interested in, and as I'm coaching more and more Black women, I'm realizing that for a lot of time for a lot of us, and maybe for many people in this life, money is not only about the numbers and everything, but there is the whole habits and behaviors and mindset that are really really important, that are foundational element. And so Asia is coming to talk to us about, how to be empowered with our money from a mindset perspective. And so another person that you might also recognize in my lineup of speakers is Coach Malika. Again, her and I are in the same industry, which is essentially money coaching. And so, same thing. I reached out to Malika. We used to exchange a little bit, and we never really collaborate on anything. But we always say to each other at one point we'll collaborate on something. And I couldn't think of the best, I guess, like the best partner to have in the session that I'll be doing to talk about the most powerful retirement account when it comes to building wealth. So I'll be sharing my perspective from the Canadian side, and she'll be sharing her perspective from the American side. And so I do apologize if you will be joining the summit and you neither Canadian nor American, but I'm also going by the majority of people who I know will be joining the summit. And last year it was mainly Canadians and Americans. So, but just to say essentially, when it comes to Exodus Summit, it's not for me. It's not only just like the fact of moving abroad and join that particular summit for moving abroad, but it's everything that is in between the summits. It's the community, through the Facebook group. And even if I feel like I don't go as often on on the Facebook group, each time that I feel not sure about my plan or all that, I just need to go in the Facebook group and read a success story about another Black woman who moved abroad, or like who just got a visa approved, who just got a job. Anything that Black women are sharing in terms of steps that are getting them closer to actually moving abroad. And the main thing for me, I guess, for all of those years of participating in the Exotic Summit is the community of Black women that I am in touch with. And I'm gonna share some of those Black, the names of some of the Black women here, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be forgetting some. So please charge it to my head, not to my heart, because unfortunately, I'm pretty sure I'll be forgetting someone. But I want to start with Sandra from Lacta Legacy, and Sandra, we met when I was living in Playa. At the time, she was getting ready to move from Playa to Guadalajara, so she was selling most of her stuff, and I needed a lot of things because I was just moving into my place. Honestly, she gave me those things almost for free. Yes, I paid something, but honestly, like she was just like getting rid of stuff, and I got so many quality items from her to the point that I even brought some of them with me here in Canada. And when we met, I was with my 2 year old, and somehow, because I told my 2 year old I was going to see a friend, and decided that money that it was gonna be, I don't know, like doing a drawing or something for my friend that we were going to see. So when I met Sandra, my son really wanted to give her his drawing, which was fine. So he gave it to her. And would you believe that, right after that, year after that, Sandra and I were talking, and she told me, she's like, you know what? I live in Southeast Asia now, but I still have the drawing that your son has given me, right? She didn't have to do that. And, other than meeting her in Playa, we didn't really hang out that much. I think we met 2 times, one at a dinner, and the second time me when I was buying her stuff. But we were still in touch on WhatsApp here and there. But we can't really say that we're close friends. But she kept my son's drawing. And I don't think, I met her through Exodus Summit. And honestly, again, for my summit, she's one of those that I reach out and I'm like, Sandra, would you mind if I come on your platform to share about the Wealthy Black Women Summit? And she said yes. And she's like, how can I help you? How can I help you in this journey? And again, she didn't have to do that. So again, that's the one person. Second person, I already mentioned her, Danny from Natural LID. I honestly don't think that I'll still have a YouTube channel today if that was not for her, because she encourages me. Yeah, she gives me space. Of course, when I gave birth to my twins for a couple of months, I was not on YouTube. She gave me the space for that. But at one point, she's like, Human, you need to go back to it. Remember your why. Remember your why of empowering Black women to build wealth, right? So you cannot take too long out of YouTube. The third is Coach Malika. Like I just said, she will be doing a session with me at the Wealthy Black Women Summit, and it's a woman that I have a lot of respect for. And her and I, we definitely share something in the sense that she was a single mother. I am a single mother, and she's way, her child is way older than mine. But for me, seeing a single mother like her who have achieved so much and is today financial independent is really someone that I want to get, stay close to. And so, and I'm looking forward to the session that we'll do. Another person is Jace. Maybe you have seen some of her video on YouTube here. She's a huge proponent of YouTubers over 50. Same thing, I reach out to her and I say, would you mind if I come on your platform? She said yes. We have like 6 or 7 hours different because she lives in the UK and I live in Canada. And who else? Marissa Price, same thing, right? And I'm pretty sure I'm missing someone here. But all of that to say, actually, yeah, D from HND, right? D from the sweet half of HND abroad. Her and I, we never met in person, but with all of those women, I honestly feel like I have such a special, a strong bond, and I wouldn't have had that if that was not me, meeting them through Exodus Summit. And so I'm pretty sure by now you have understood that me putting this question as the title of my video is a bit of a rhetorical question, because do I feel like it's worth it for you to actually attend Exodus Summit? Listen, I'm looking forward to my fourth Exodus Summit this year, and I'm still beating myself for missing the first one because then I could have said today I am 5 out of 5, right? So right now I'm just 4 out of 5 because I missed the 2021. But when they came up with the early bird ticket, I honestly didn't even pay much attention, right? I just went and I got my ticket. And then I shared, at the time, I just shared with some of my friends. And one of them came back to me and she's like, I can't see the schedule. I'm like, what do you mean you can't see the schedule? And she said, yeah, I cannot see the speakers. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I know I'm going. I already blocked the time in my calendar, since whenever they announced that essentially the summit is happening October 11 to 14, I blocked the time. But I'm like, I don't know, right? So I'm like, you better, get your ticket before it actually increases. But apparently, the schedule was not there, or some people I don't know exactly what happened. But for me, I knew that I knew everything, like, the growth that I've had since the first time I've attended this summit. Personally, like in terms of even like my mental health, all of that, just, knowing that there is a community of Black women who want to do the same thing that I want to do, that I'm not crazy of wanting more, wanting something different from this life. It's already for me a huge bonus, right? So I knew I was going no matter what. So again, if you're still on the fence, you're still not sure, if Exodus Summit, especially this year, is for you, I will strongly suggest for you to revisit, because I know there is opportunity for you to get the replays after, but there is something very special about the live sessions and being able to, interact with other Black women, while the session is happening. And I'm hoping for you also to find accountability partners, because I've gotten so many accountability partners from me attending Exodus Summit, and I'm someone who's really big on accountability, because that has really helped me to achieve a lot of things that I feel like if I tried to do it by myself, I wouldn't have gotten as far. Like they say, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with more people, right? So again, uh, if somehow this actually push you toward the idea of participating to the Exodus Summit, I'm going to leave you with my affiliate link in the description below. And the affiliate link for the Exodus Summit, it's essentially, if you use my link to get your ticket to the summit, I'll be getting a kickback. But to be quite honest, yes, that will be some money in my pocket. But I think for the most important for me is that if you're on the fence about this summit, give yourself the benefit of the doubt, right? So uh, come to the summit, attend the sessions, and see for yourself if really, if that was something for you or not. Because I feel like it would be a bit of um, it'd be a bit of just like I guess a bummer for you to be in the Facebook group and then just hearing so much from the summit after the fact, from other Black women who have attended, and then you're like, oh, if I knew. Don't have that regret. Please don't have that regret. So go ahead, get your ticket. I hope to see you. I will not be on the camera or anything, but I'll be in the chat and exchanging with other Black women. And I am so excited about it. I'm also going to be leaving you before I actually end this long recording. I'm going to be leaving you also with the link to my own summit. Like I said, the Wealthy Black Women Summit is happening on November 16th. This is the summit for Black women who want to learn about, anything about make money, managing money, building, growing the money, building the wealth. This year, we'll also be talking about generational wealth, how to really get your children, teenagers, children in your life, to actually get on that board on board when it comes to actually building wealth. So I'm super excited about it. So let me know in the comments below if you have already attended an Exodus Summit. How many have you attended? I'm looking forward to see who has actually attended 5 out of 5, because I don't know if I know any of the Black women who have attended 5 out of 5. Maybe Sandra. I think Sandra probably has attended probably almost 5 out of 5. But so far I'm 4 out of 5. I'm always gonna be one less because I missed that 2021. But okay, but let me know in the comments. Have you attended Exodus Summit? How many have you attended? Are you looking forward to the one this year? And let me know also at what are you looking forward to, right? So I haven't even had a chance to look at the schedule yet. I'm probably gonna look at it a few days after before, but I usually tend to attend as many sessions as I can, except if there is anything that is really, let's say, US centered, like taxes or anything like that, because that there is no really any need, any reason for me to attend. That doesn't really apply to me. But most of the time, I really strive to attend as many sessions live as I can. There you have it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening to me today. I know my video today is longer than usual, but honestly, I think it's important when we see people doing the right thing to be an extension to their voice. And so today, my video is being an extension to Stephanie and Rashida's voices and the amazing work that they're doing, which is improving Black women lives. Every day, every day. So don't forget to give me a like, subscribe to the channel, and also hit the notification bell for the next video that I'll be doing here. Thank you so much for being here, and until next time, keep on building wealth.